like a medicine.
Hello and welcome to Long Beaching with Mo, where we come up with a lot of things for you to hear and see. Now, in the studio today I have a very unusual band. They're called Hobohead. Welcome, Hobohead, from various parts of Los Angeles, I understand. And you'll have to excuse Dale. Dale is the guy in the... Is that a pork pie hat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real one.
Yeah, great.
Bought it in pork pie land.
There you go. But you have a broken clavicle, don't you? And that's why you're holding your arm like this. So I want to thank you so much for coming in, because you're going to be playing, you know, and it must be hard on you.
I think I'll put the brace back on when I do that. But
yeah. But I'd like, first of all, everybody to introduce themselves and tell me what you do in the band. So first of all, we have...
I'm Ben Russack, and I write the words in the band and do the speaking over the music. So.
That's like the poetry that you do over the music.
Yeah, it's poetry.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be rhyming poetry, does it?
No, and it's not poetry in the sense that it's a performance piece. So it becomes more of a song. It's sort of like the old German theater approach to melody, like the Sprechstimmen.
Right.
Yeah.
Brother, formerly Uncle Dale, last name Horner. Play bass and beat it up a little, and just do the. Ben and I been doing the band the longest. I supply the melody mostly, not always, but seems to be what I do catches on with the rest of the group. So I kind of provide the foundation for most pieces. In the earlier days, we used to make up a lot of stuff just on the fly, and we've since kind of learned it. So
you'll see that talking about this music is difficult because it's not a typical band situation.
Yeah,
Dale's kind of the engine of the group. It started with words, and then Dale came
the music
follows that, and now it's kind of blend back and forth. So,
because we had the opener on from your CD, because you don't have a CD out as such, but you're compiling one. Is that right?
We sell CDs at shows a lot of the time. We release our live material as CDs because we're a live band. We don't get in the studio. We don't rehearse.
Right.
So that's the only place where we can...
So it's whatever comes to mind at the time.
Yeah, it's sort of an organic evolution of the material. So, yeah.
Hey, I'm John. I play the guitar.
And is that lead guitar?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? What other instruments do you play, John?
I play, I play guitar. I play that 6-string kind of thing, but, it's lead, it's whatever Dale allows me to kind of do, if I kind of look up to him and, if it gets out of hand, he lets me know.
Okay.
He's the one who strangs.
Strangs, that's right. I'm a good stranger.
Stranger? Oh, okay.
I'm David, and I play a bunch of different stuff. I'm kind of like I play a lot of percussion in the band, noisemakers, sound effects, sometimes wind instruments, flutes and stuff. I've got a little arsenal of toys at my disposal, and kind of whatever sounds I feel like, should happen or should have been happening at the time, and I kind of go for that.
Because it's totally an improv band, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's sort of some structures that we have
There's worked out stuff,
towards,
but it's like Ben says, we never practice. So we might get together for a jam once in a while outside of playing a gig somewhere. Yeah. But our true thing is just to show up and play. And like I said, we've had a few pieces that have been worked out, but just between me and Ben, basically. And everybody else shows up, and they just have to folloll.
That sounds interesting.
That's the way I think we've typically tended to organize things, is we'll get together one-on-one with somebody in the band, we'll have an idea, because that way somebody will know what's going on there, but everybody else will have to follow along, and that gives it a much more, I say organic, because it's not, we're not trying to construct songs in a certain way.
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you finish telling us what you were going to tell us about yourself?
Sure, why not?
And next to you here, it's a pretty close-knit band here, It's
Well, it's a small couch.
So. Yeah, it is. We're practically sitting on each other's laps.
Just glad you didn't serve chili before.
I'm Timothy Jimenez. I'm the drummer. I'm sort of the newest pet in the group. I was sort of lost, and they found me. And
you're the newest intern.
I didn't have to chase balls or sit or shake or anything. They just let me do whatever I want.
Yeah.
How long have you been with the band for?
Just a little while now. I've played shows with them in other groups, and I've seen them and always marveled at what they were doing, and then recently started playing with them, and it's been quite a ride.
Quite a ride ever since, has it?
Yeah.
So how long, intentionally, who actually formed the band? How did the band form, and who came up with the idea and the concept of it?
Well, I was doing spoken word performances, but and I had a lot of musician friends, and I always had the idea to put something together with musicians to come up on the stage. And I had an idea for a project, and I called it "Stop Me When I'm Like This," and I invited musicians up to join me. And the second show, Dale came to, and he didn't leave. It was an idea to have rotating musicians and things, but then we kind of partnered up at that point, and.
Well, we knew we were into each other's stuff because I would show up to these open mics that Ben was going to. That's where I met him. And in Hollywood, this place called Highland Grounds. And they were pretty straight ahead, just guitar playing and Michael row your boat ashore, and if you're lucky, And so it was pretty aggravating in some ways. There wasn't a lot of creativity going on, and I felt compelled to push things a little, and so.
And so did I.
No offense to all
sort of hung up with that.
And I knew
yeah.
Ben was into it, so I would hand him like a parts book or something, say, here, read about carburetors while I play, and anything. We'd try anything every week, and so from that, I think we also knew that it would be fun. When Ben invited me along for this thing, I was going, oh yeah, absolutely, we should give it a try, because I knew from a long time ago I used to play like this for years.
Yeah.
With these other bands, we'd just get together in art lofts or something, and we'd have an ensemble of instruments, and everybody would trade off, and whether you knew how to play the instrument or not, it didn't matter as long as you could get some kind of a sound out of it. That's what was important. And then try to blend.
Yeah.
And so, depending on who you were, as far as probably the listener would not be into it, but if you were playing, I think you were into it.
Right.
But actually, we came up with some pretty interesting stuff too.
This band presents like different kinds of challenges than other bands. I think, we'd all been in bands, and some of us still are in bands where you rehearse and you get it right and you learn the parts, and you try and keep it fresh. But with this band, it's not. The challenges are to listen and to create space, and to not always take the easy road. Yeah. It's easy to get loud and play the blues in an improv.
Right.
Anybody could do that, but if you're going to approach it from a perspective of let's try and create something new and something that is not predetermined.
There are a lot of challenges too when we do live gigs, because each room we play is different. And
you mean the sound of the room?
Yeah,
right.
You never know what you're going to be up against, and if there's somebody mixing it, if you can at least get them to understand what you're going to do, and they're into it, you might have a good night, or if you don't have a mixer at all, and you're not realizing that no one can hear each other, which is very important in our band,
Right.
So we've run into all these obstacles and realized, we actually, the first couple times we got together with, the latest ensemble, it was pretty rough at first. We liked what was happening, but we were all kind of like, we really need to hone in on this, and so we actually got together and had like a jam together one night, which was, to me, was just one of the best we ever sounded,
Really?
Just for creativity, and came up with just some really cool ideas,
So when you say you get together in your jam, what is the shortest time you've jammed together? And then what is the longest time you've jammed together?
Well, actually, that was the only time we ever did get together for a jam, was that once.
Oh, really?
We had a rehearsal once before that. We called it a rehearsal, but we didn't bring our instruments. We cooked steaks and we talked about the music.
Yeah.
And that was, we had one of our best shows after that. For sure. Yeah. Actually, that was.
So you talked about the music, about what you were going to do in the next show, is that right?
Right. Well, just because.
Hey, I like the sizzle of that steak. Let's put that in.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the music and you talk about it, then maybe you can find other ways that people may always be getting loud in the dissonant parts and quiet in the mellow parts. Well, let's think about switching that, or something.
Yeah.
And you open up different ways of looking at what we're doing, and that's a rehearsal, really, more than like a part of a musical piece.
Yeah.
It's sort of like your approach is what you're rehearsing to it, not the actual.
So a lot of the time when you're on stage or you're at a show, you are hearing it all for the first time.
Yeah, actually, we have to listen to the recording afterwards before we make a final decision on how the
we
show
ran
is.
into an amazing amount of luck.
Luck.
We did. We really lucked out. The early ensemble of Hobohead was playing at this place where it had a great stage setup ensemble, and it was the room kind of like this. It was nice and dead sound. You could hear everything. And this guy kept showing up with these 8-track recorders, and we were able to get just amazing recordings, early on. And we're just like, wow, we're able to pick it apart and sit down and listen to it and say, oh, so that's what we're doing, And we knew when we were playing it, but to get to listen to it later and confirm it, it was really important to all of us, as it still is. We just did a show about a month ago, and everybody, after we just happened to have a sound man able to record it, and we all got CDs to listen to, and he did an amazing job for never hearing us before.
So you listened to the CD and you went, hey, so each of you go, wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to something and think, oh my God?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, plenty of times. Look, you ever watch the old Saturday Night Live and you see, some of the skits went absolutely nowhere if you ever watched the full hour-and-a-half episode, because it's just not funny.
The whole show,
it's just not. You can't always improv is that way. You got to take the bitter with the batter, right?
So you are the true improv pioneers, really, because you're up on that stage.
There have been other people doing it, but we pull from John
you follow
Cage
through and you go and you say, well, hey, we're improv. We don't know what we're playing tonight. We hope you like it. If you don't, we don't know what to tell you.
We don't have people that we feel we're following in their footsteps. No, I mean, it's definitely we're approaching it from a perspective, and there's a lot of similarities with other projects that have been. But
is it a hard sell sometimes?
Oh, it's I mean.
Candy.
Talk about an inelastic price curve, I mean, it's pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, as far as selling Hobohead, the fact is that you can clear out a room with us, but the people that are left, you'll have a great conversation with, and they will follow us wherever we go. They will be really into us. So, if 5 out of every 100 people in the world are like that, that's plenty for us. That's great.
We don't clear rooms that often, though.
No, well, but I mean, it's like if you get a top 40 crowd in there, and they're not gone by the time we're done, we're probably doing something wrong,
Well, yeah.
I'm kidding.
That's right. Yeah. I think the worst was the gig we did at the mall, that festival they were having or something. And
it was the 3rd Street Promenade. We were playing, and we were doing, we were pretty aggressive back then, and we did a lot of anti-consumer things, and we decided to really go and get into people's faces with it, because mothers were grabbing their children, scurrying them past the stage.
Nobody would stop to watch us.
There was one American Indian guy sitting out there, just looking at us with his cowboy hat on, this Native American. He's just going.
Yeah.
And that was it. And everybody else was going by. But we had a blast, and it was a real part of our growth.
It was a very slippery day. Yeah.
We liked it, and that's all that matters to us. So.
Well, as long as you're being creative and you like being creative, and you that's the main thing.
But it wasn't an intent to drive people away.
Right.
I guess it's just we're really that ugly during the day.
Our byline for the band is Hobohead. It's not for everybody, and that's because it isn't. But we have a devoted fan base that really likes what we do, and we appreciate it. And it's sort of like, if you're not trying to control the whole thing and you're allowing it to be what it is, you're having a good time, there are people out there enjoying it, then hey, bonus.
And it's not like we're the only band doing that. There's other bands around. There's one that, Banyan, who's got a lot of, big time players, friends of ours and mine, I guess. And other bands that also do go the improv way. But all the improv bands I've seen, entirely different. As their approach and as to how they're doing it with the same instruments,
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now, if people want to look you up, how would they go about that?
Well, right now the web space we have is our MySpace page. So it'll be www.myspace.com/Hobohead.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to get in touch with us.
That's the way to get a hold of you.
You can also reach us at hobohead@go.com.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I do believe we're going to. We've already done a 15-minute interview. So we're going to get down and we're going to listen to some of these guys' music. So I want you to stick around. I don't want you to walk by or slide the kids by the TV there. Just stick around to listen to Hobohead. And thank you for joining us, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Mo.
Thank you.
Great.
As our thoughts start to Was in another lifetime, one of toil and blood. When blackness was a virtue, the road was.
If we do not take responsibility for saving animals from extinction, we allow a part of ourselves to die with them. Help World Wildlife Fund protect animals in the places where they live by ordering a free action kit. Together, we can leave our children a living planet.
Come in, she said, I'll give ya shelter from the storm.
Back in kindergarten, we used to have these very large building blocks, and I used to love playing with them, stacking them one on top of the other, trying to put the bigger ones on top, making arches to crawl through, just wanting to build structure after structure after structure after structure after structure. At the Helmsley building where once we walked around talking sound, now I'm surrounded by the ammunition's missives dreamt of by another. They passed this billowed William P. Zipping down the city streets, now they occupy my head like kielbasa churns inside of me. Oscar Mayer megatons, missiles and meatballs, sweet sausage ballistics and Wiener Schnitzel warheads. Long-range, extra lean, ground-to-air links. Loverly. Living in the half-life as they launch. We do lunch. And I eat in the buildings Bill built, never wondering whether this William will wilt still. This one's for you, Pagano, mi paisano. May your bombs balance boldly on the bodies of tomorrow. And as the past brings pasty pasta, I think I'll stick to kasha. Americana, Polish, anti-blasta. No Romano. I've lain waste to my senses. I have plundered. I have pilloried. I have carpet bombed. Not all my friends are blood-throwing, card-carrying, flag-waving miscreants, bent on antagonizing innocent little puppets into shameless displays of all-night debauchery at bus stops and ATMs, for hypnotizing and drugging them into committing various acts of counter-espionage and sabotage and waking up in war-paint and battle fatigues in Panama with absolutely no recollection of what the hell happened. No, not all of my friends are like this, but these are. But I have no hand that works for me. And even if I could, the tree has no root. And the earth hurtles through space. And what is my original face? I'd hold on to a dream, but my mind is fixed in a concrete smile. It's safer there than any place I've ever been by far, but nowhere near as happy as running in the front of a car. What good is conquering life for one day to last and fears entice me, egg me on? They say, oh sure, you think you're pure, and I would say that. But right is wrong and tit is tat, and don't you want to fight me now? Come on! Do battle. Or have you forgotten how? I just instead pretend the voice is dead and sprout some wings? Fly away from this obscenery. Change the scenery. Decry the god. Become one with the corpse in my machinery. Gears and gears and gears and gears. Years. Years and years and years and years. Maybe I could find some peace. Maybe I could find myself. Or whichever one was worse. But hey, I'm not so dumb. I've got a thumb. And I can make a fist, grab an axe, rip that tree straight from the ground. Chop it into matches and burn this whole place